Hi guys, just waiting for more few minutes to some more people to attend. Okay, let's kick it off. Thanks for joining to this session. This session is Power BI dashboard in an hour, presented by Cloud BI. So a quick introduction of myself. My name is Ali Sharifi, and I'm a Microsoft BI consultant and also Power BI and DAX trainer. I'm Microsoft certified trainer and solution expert and founder and director of Cloud BI. This is my detail. If you want to get in touch with me, I have shared the slides and the instruction with you guys. Quick overview of what we are doing in Cloud BI. Cloud BI is a BI consultancy company that we are providing the BI services. So anything about the data and creating the BI solution reports and the data strategy, we can help with that. I'm also providing Power BI training. We have a couple of courses, Power BI in a day, that is good for the beginner. We have Power BI 2 days comprehensive courses, Power BI DAX and data modeling, and Power BI advanced visualization. Agenda for this session, I'm going to give you a quick introduction about the different Power BI elements. Then we will discuss about the data transformation using Power Query, introduction to the data modeling, different strategy for data modeling. Then I have prepared 2 project lab for you then that I can go through them and will demo you. And after that, probably you can go through the instruction and the lab materials that I have shared you. And if you have got some time, it is good that start practicing them. So the intention of this giving you some familiarity about the Power BI features and get you a chance to create some reports and dashboard based on the data that I have prepared. And at the end of session, we have some time for question and answer. But if you guys have any question, even in the middle of the demo presentation, please don't hesitate to ask. It is good to have a kind of the interactive session. Okay, so what is Power BI? Power BI is a self-service BI solution. Self-service BI solution means that you can do everything in Power BI. So normally, traditionally, for creating a reporting and BI solution, you had to use the different tools to connect to the data, transform the data, and create a kind of the data warehousing, and then we had a kind of the visualization tools to show, to create the charts and the visuals and share it with the other user. So in Power BI, you can do all of this in these tools. So you don't need to use any other tools. And it is quite flexible and mature. It's about the 6 years that Microsoft has introduced Power BI, and it massively has grown in the market. And it's every month, Microsoft introduced a new version with some new feature in Power BI. Power BI component, normally we have 2 main components for Power BI. One is Power BI Desktop. That's a free tool that you will install it on your machine to develop and implement and create the reports. And then after that, there is another part that it is Power BI service. It's a cloud service that the reports will be shared over there. It is published over there and can be shared with the teams and with the people in the organization. Sorry, I need to admit another one. Yep, and then it can be used, the people with the different devices can connect to the service and see the reports and use the data. Yeah, as I said, Power BI Desktop is a free tool that you can download it from Power BI website and use it for free. The Power BI Desktop workflow, as you can see here, sorry, I need to get this part. So here in Power BI Desktop, we have mainly two parts. One, we call it query editor or Power Query, when it's connected to the different data sources and extract the data, and there is a chance for combining and transforming and cleaning the data here. And then the main engine of the Power BI is based on the tabular engine that you can do data visualization, you can view the data, and also you can do the data modeling and creating the relationship between the table here. So regarding Power BI environment, Power BI desktop environment, as you can see here, we have a different part in Power BI desktop. In report visualization, mainly we have the fields and the column on the right. Then in the middle, we have the different type of the chart and visualization that you can select. Then we have a kind of the filter pane that you can define filter on the 3 levels. The first level is on the visuals, then you can define it on the page or on the all page. And in the middle, you can add your charts and visuals. One Power BI file can have multiple pages. So you can create multiple pages and let the user to navigate through the pages. Okay, for now, I'm going to show you one report in Power BI Desktop to give you better understanding how this tool is working before going to the demo. So as you can see here, this is one report that I've created for this session in Power BI Desktop. So in Power BI Desktop, mainly we have 3 sections. The first section is report, as you can see here. Then another one is data section. That's the place that you can view and browse the data as the raw data. So you can toggle between the different tables, see the different columns here, and you can also filter in the data, just kind of the understanding about the data. And at the end is the model, when you have all of the tables, and you can create the relationships between the tables to allow the visuals work. The main part that it is report one, as I show you on the slide. Here we have the data tables and the column here. Then in the right side, in the left, we have the visualization. There is a different type of the charts and visuals here. That's we call them standard visuals. But if you wanted to go and use some other, sorry, I need to add. Yeah, in the case that you need to use some other visual that it is not available here, you should be able to go and get more visual from Marketplace. So Microsoft has created a kind of the environment that anyone can go and create the visual and introduce it as a custom visual, and you can go and use them based on what they have. Some of them are free and some of them you need to pay for that. So we call them custom visuals. Then, as I said, here on the filter pane, we have 3 levels for defining the filters. The first level is the visual levels, then we have the page level, and we have the report level filter. And in the middle, this is where you can create your visuals. So you have the visuals, and here you have the place that you can define what columns and what fields can be used on the visuals. Here on the middle, there is a formatting place that you can define the coloring, formatting, fonts, all of them can be defined here. And the last one, there is the analytics tab that you can have some analytics insight onto the same as the average, medians, or minimum or maximum. You can add those value to your chart as well. Okay, so and yep, and that's the pages that I was talking about them. So you can go with the navigate to the different pages if your report need to have more pages and you need to add more visuals to the page. Okay, get back to the slide deck. Okay, so the first part, when you wanted to use Power BI, you need to connect to the data sources and load the data to Power BI. So for this purpose, Power BI has created too many connections based on the type of each data. I think at the moment, almost all of the data format that we have is supported by Power BI. So the data sources can be files, can be relational databases, can be unstructured databases, can be even a web page, HTML, some online services or CRM are supported. So you can imagine that most of the available data are supported by Power BI. So you need to connect to the right data source. Then probably, let's say, they nominate the right path or the address of the service, and then you have a chance to extract the data into the Power BI. And yeah, this is the list of the data sources. This is a bit old, but we should have more now. But you can see that based on the type of the data, for the file base, we have everything, even PDF. So if you have some data in the PDF, Power BI is able to go and grab it. Databases, all of these databases, online services, cloud services, and other data sources are supported. Okay, now I'm going to start the first demo for you guys. In this demo, we have some data in this Excel file. I call it sales data. So as you can see here, we have data in the different sheet. This is sales data, customer, product category, subcategory, geography, and date. So each of these tables, they have kind of the key or primary key that we are loading them, and they can be linked to the sales. So for that, I will start Power BI desktop. Okay, so the first thing we need to get data, and because our data is coming from Excel file, we will select Excel workbook. Here, I will select the Excel file, and then Power BI show me the data that we have as Excel sheet. So here you can select one or multiple of these Excel sheet, and it gives you a kind of the preview of the data as well. So now you have two options. If you can load them directly to the Power BI, or you can go and do kind of the transformation and cleansing if it is required. So for this one, we wanted to load them directly to Power BI. So now you can see that the data is getting ported to Power BI. And here Power BI has a very good compressing engine that compressing the data. So the data, if you wanted to compare the size of the data in Power BI with the original data, you can say that about the data get displayed about the 1/10 of the size. So for example, if you have 100 megabyte in Power BI, you normally should expect about the 10 megabyte. Okay, so now you can see here we have the all of the tables and the data that and columns that came on each table. So first thing we need to know, we need to go and look at the relationship between the tables. Okay, so here there is a place that you can create your data model. But before going to finish the data modeling, just need to give you some overview about the different way of the data modeling and what is the concept of the data modeling. Getting back to slide again. So for data modeling is the concept that you will link the tables to each other. And so normally for reporting purposes, it is the table structure can be different from the application. So in reporting, we are using a kind of the flattening format or data warehousing format to be in favor of the reporting. So it would be in the way that when we are querying the data, it should be as quick as possible. So for that purpose, we are dividing the tables to two different types. The first one type is fact table, and then we have dimension table. What is the difference between this fact and dimension? So normally facts table, they are kind of the type of the table that they contain all of your transactions, numbers, and events. Almost all of the numeric values that we wanted to report and aggregate based on them, they will go to this fact table. We should expect one row for one event to be exist in the fact table. For example, if you have the in the retail industry, when you go to the shopping, you will buy you will do shopping. Then so for one order, you will get one order, and then for one order, you can have multiple products. So here, order and product create one row for one customer. So the granularity of that is based on the product line, say. Some sample of that, for example, for sales, we can say sales amount, quantity, discount, and cost. For order delivery, we can discuss about something, delivery cost, count of the deliveries. You can see that for the different industry, we can have the different facts. For example, for education industry, we normally talk about the enrollment, number of the enrollment, or count of the successful courses. Something similar to this. The second type of the tables, they are dimensions. So dimensions, contrary to the fact tables, so they contain those descriptive information and those information that we want to use it for filtering, slicing, and dicing the data. So here the discussion is about what we are going to find is about who has done this, what has been done, where this has been done, when it has been done. So all the question will go to these attributes. For example, product, customer, and date, they are a kind of the dimension table that they can have a different column for filtering. Normally, in the model, we have the dimensions sitting around the fact table and connect to the fact table. So this was the definition and difference between the fact and dimensions. Then the third component of the data modeling is relationship. Relationship is the way that you are linking the tables to each other. For example, if you have the sales table, but you wanted to filter it by product category, so normally you should have a link between these two tables to allow the filter to flow from product to sales. In Power BI, you can create the relationship in the data model, and the way that is working normally in the dimension, you have a kind of the unique or primary key that it is linked to the one column in the fact table that have the similar value and similar data type. It's kind of the surrogate key in the other in the fact table. We have three types for a relationship: one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many. Most of the relationship that we have between the fact and dimension, they are one-to-many. For example, for one product, we can have multiple sales roles. But occasionally you will encounter with one-to-one. For example, if you have a, let's say, if we have one table for customer and one table for delivery address, so we can imagine that there is a one-to-one relationship between them. Many-to-many is in the way that for one part of the relationship, there is multiple row on the other side, and same from the other way. For example, let's say in the banking, we have account that one account can be relevant to multiple customers, and the other side, one customer can have multiple accounts. So this is we can say that this is many-to-many relationship between these two. Okay, after this, understanding the three components of the data modeling. So we have a different strategy for creating our data model. The first one and the most famous one is a star model. When in star model, it's kind of the star when you have the sales in the middle, and then the dimension are directly connected to the fact table, as you can see here. So this is the best way of the data modeling, and this is the good way to get a good performance. And also it is very easy to understand. There is another way of data modeling. We call it snowflakes. In the snowflakes, it's similar to star, but here the dimensions can be linked to the fact table indirectly. For example, here we have the product as connected to the sales, but product category and subcategory, they are connected to the sales, but via product. So this one, it is easy to implement, but you won't get a very good performance when you have the very large data. Okay, now let's get back to the demo. Please let me know if you guys have any question about this slide. Okay, how do you know whether it is a fact table or dimension table? How to distinguish? So normally, as I said, that fact table, they are kind of the table that you wanted to, they have the numerical value. So something that you can aggregate it. For example, number of sales amount or discount. But dimension, they are kind of the tables that you want to use for filtering. For example, let's say for product, you wanted to say this product has one category or has one segment or color. So they are kind of the descriptive value that you can say they are dimension. Okay, so here, when we are importing the tables, so there is an option in Power BI that allow Power BI to distinguish to find out the links, the relation between the table by using the name. So for similar names, it will connect it together. So now you can see for customer, we have customer and sales. There is a link between these two tables using customer key. Same, it has found it for product and sales. So probably we need to create a link between date and sales to be able to filter the sales value based on date. So for that one, we have a date key as a key in date table, and we can use, let's say, order date key. I think we have one for this. Order date key, you can link it to date key. Just you need to grab the one column and put it over other one. So you can see here, it has created one relationship, and as you can see, one side you have one and other side you have star. So it is sign of the one-to-many relationship from date to sales. Okay. We have two other tables that they have not been linked yet. So category to product category is linked to the subcategory, and then we need to link it to product to create a count of the snowflake. So here in product, we have the product subcategory key. Let me find it. Yep, that's it. So we just need to so you can double click on the relationship and see the detail of that here. Or if you find it easier, you can create it from here. Also, you can manage relationships and create new relationship from here. So if you're not comfortable with doing that by using the diagram, you can go and use it, create a relationship manually here. Okay, so now when we have the model, it is ready to get used in the charts. So we will get back to this one. You can see all of the data here, but this is for just observation. But now let's see, if I wanted to create a chart here, this is a tree map. It's a count of the area chart. So if I say, I will go to geography and grab country name. So normally you should have some numeric value from the fact table to be able to see the charts. Here we have sales amount. As you can see, it is a numeric value. You can find it from this sigma sign here. And also we have the default summarization that tell us that where each of this numeric value, what default summarization can be used at. So as a default, we have some, but we can have average, maximum, count, or count of this thing. If I grab this to here, so now you can see the different some rectangle with a different size and a bit different color for each country name. So the size of the rectangle nominate the amount of the sales amount, so the value of the sales amount. But if you wanted to show the dollar value, you can go and enable data labels. So you can now see that what is the sales amount per each country. For formatting, you can see this is not the currency value. If you want to make it, change it to currency, just go here and on the column tools, you can check the format here to currency or just click on this dollar value. So now you can see this numbers has been changed to currency. We can go with the other chart. Let's say if I go with this column chart. So here I wanted to see what was my sales amount on month basis. So if I use this month name and then bring sales amount to the value. So you see that, let me to enable data color, data label, sorry here. So you can see the different value for the different months. But the problem that they can see here, the month, okay, so this is one thing here. So what we can see, the chart has been sorted based on the sales amount in the descending order. So if you wanted to change it to go based on the months, we just click on here on this triple dot and we say sort by month name. So it's been sorted by month name. It is descending, but we can sort it ascending. So it is ascending now. Started with April, because the thing is now it has been sorted based on the months, but because the months are alphabets, so it has been sorted alphabetically. For fixing this one, we have another column. It is months, number of the year. That's for each month. It is one number column between 1 and 12. So what we can do, we can tell Power BI that sort month name based on the month name of the year. So here we have the icon for that, sort by columns, and we can say month number of year. When we do this, then we can see that the charts are sorted based on the calendar dates, started January and ended with December. Okay, so this is how we could use it, but the problem is now we have the sales amount by month, but we don't know for what year we are showing the data. So for filtering the data, for allowing the user to filter the data, we have two ways. We can add the filter here to this filter page, or we can use a slicer. So if you have for some cases that you wanted to user to occasionally, frequently go and change the filter, so it'd be better to use a slicer. As you can see, this is a slicer, and then I will go to date and use calendar years for that. Okay, so it gives me the option to change the year, select a different year by moving this circle. If you don't want to use this format of the slicer, you can define the different type. You can go to list. So here you have a chance to see all of the years as a list and select them. Or my favorite one is drop down. I normally go with drop down one, because that's one taking it less space from your report. Okay, so now I have this one, move it on the top, and then I've selected for 2017. Or here I can add, let's say, if I change this to line and a cluster column, I can add more insight to the chart as well. So if I go to order quantity, I can bring order quantity as a line. So now you can see I have order quantity in the line that's using the different axes that we have for sales quantity. So in one chart, we can show two or multiple metrics here. Okay, so there is a question say how to sort data for Likert scale. I'm not sure what does it mean with the Likert.
So basically what I meant was, let's say if you have the data, which is like you're counting how many is strongly agree, neutral, disagree, and strongly disagree. And I've had issues with sorting them, because it will actually sort them based on alphabetical order. So if I want to decide the order, how can I do that?
Yeah. So it depends how have you create your band. So it's a kind of the grouping and band. Yep. So normally, in this case, you normally create another column for that. So for example, you have created your alphabetic band saying that from this to this for one row, from this to this to another row. So it is good if you create another column with the same logic, but this time we give it a number.
Okay.
Number start with 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can, similar to what I did here, you can sort this based on the numerical. You can.
Right. Is it possible? I know that in some tools we can do. If you're giving them a number, can you also define the number? Let's say 1 represents strongly disagree, 2 represents.
Yep, definitely. It depends, because normally it depends how you have created your agree, disagree, and other
Yes.
columns. Do you know? Because normally, if they are coming from a different table, or if you have created a calculated column for them, it depends how you have created that.
Right.
But probably you can share more detailed data with me about the model.
Sure.
If you still have questions, we can specifically look into that after this session, or when you have free time. Okay.
Sure. Thanks.
No worries. Okay, so one thing that it is specific about Power BI. Power BI is opposite to some other tools, same as if you have worked with SSRS or Crystal reports. So they are not interactive. But Power BI is interactive. It means that the user can interact with the visuals, and also visual can have interaction to each other. What does it mean? It means that when you are clicking on Australia, so you can see this chart is changing. Let me to get rid of this line. Doesn't. Okay, so when I click on Australia, you can see some part of the chart is get highlighted. So that is, those parts are related to Australia. So let's see here, you have the, for months of December, sale amount is 1 million, but highlighted that is belong to Australia, it's about 300,000, sorry, and vice versa. So this is called interactions. So you can click on one chart and see the result on the other chart. You can do this on the bar chart after. So you can see when you're clicking on bar chart, the tree map is changing. If you wanted to define the interaction, so as a default, the default interaction type is highlight, but you can go and customize it if you want. If you go to format, edit interaction, when you are in this mode, then you are enabling edit interaction. When you are clicking on one chart, on the other chart, you can see 3 icons on top of them. So the first one, it is no. It means that when you are clicking on that, you mean that by clicking on this, it shouldn't have any impact on the second one. Or you can say highlight, which is as a default. The last one is filter. So filter saying that when clicking on one chart, the other chart can be filtered. So that's a good way if you wanted to show to allow the user to filter based on the one visual to the other. You can define the interactions. Okay. Let's go to another chart. I don't like this pie chart and donut chart, but I will go for this practice. Let's say if I wanted to show the sales amount based on the product category and subcategory, I will bring category name and sales amount. Is it here? So you can see here, we have for different category, we have different area. And then for each of them, you can have the value and also the percentage. So they are configurable, so you can go and change the way that you want to see the percentage and value here. But if you wanted to go to if you want to drill down for example, for one category, you have multiple subcategory. If you wanted to drill down from category to subcategory, if you can do this by bringing both column on the same legend value. So now when I added it, so you can see some more icons have been added here. So they are kind of the hierarchy icon. by enabling this, when I click on one of these one, for example, now I am on the accessories. If I click on this, it will take me to the next level, that it is the subcategories for this category. So you can see the different subcategory here, or you can drill up. And this time, if you wanted to go, for example, to C4 box, so you can see we have the different subcategory for the box. So this is the way that you can define the hierarchy in Power BI visuals. If you have the some kind of the natural hierarchy relation between the column, just by dragging them under each other and enabling the drill down, you should be able to go to see the data to the next level. Or this is another way that if you want to see all of them in the detail level, you can use that other icon that we have here. Okay, running out of time, I need to be quick. Okay, the next one is for showing the map visual. There is the multiple options that we have for showing the geographical and spatial data on map. Normally in the map standard, let's say if we have some kind of the data that give us geographical information, so it can be from the country name, city name, or postcode, or if you wanted to have more accurate, it can be latitude and longitude as well. So here, if I add country to the location, and then I wanted to see what is my sales amount based on the country. Okay, so here you can see that I have the different circle here. The circle with the different size for each country. So the bigger circle means that you have more sales. And yeah, you can see by using that, we can engage the map visual as well. If you wanted to go to the next detail, for example, you wanted to go to state and postcode, just need to, so here we have state and province, that's a kind of the state. And then after that is postcode. So now you can see that I have the hierarchy icons enabled on top of it. So here, for example, not sure which country you are coming from. For us, that coming from Australia, and I know where is the state and city. So here, by clicking on Australia, I drill down to see the sales by state. If I go to my state and wanted to see based on the postcode, so we should be able to see the sales amount by different postcode. So this is the quick way that if some user wanted to see the data on the map or graph, you can simply use this one, and you can use the interaction as well. So by clicking on each of them, you can see the value on the other visual as well. Okay. Oh, we are still on Australia. Let's see. Okay, it is if you wanted to go to format your charts to be seen in a good way, you can get to here and use your taste and your artist to format the chart to look better. For example, this is title. I wanted to show the background of the title as a dark and font color as white. Probably let's go with this one. And I wanted to get, sorry, let's go to the title, make it a bit bigger. Now the font size is 14. I wanted to go for 16, for example. And then I will go and create a border for that, but probably a bit light border. So now my chart is converted to similar to this one. if you wanted to apply the format that we did to the other one, we can use the format painter when we are clicking on the charts and use that one, so you can see the format that we created is transformed to the other ones. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So I will leave this part, but you guys can go to the instruction manual and do the rest of them to create the complete report to be similar to this one. So to this one. Okay, so then on the time that we have, I wanted to go and show you what do we have in Power Query and what is Power Query exactly, because that's the main part of Power BI that you need to know and have a good skill of using that. Let's get back to presentation. Okay, so Power Query, it's a kind of the engine. So we have Power Query. If you are familiar with Excel, you know that we have Power Query in Excel as well. So it's a kind of the engine that allow you to change, transform, and add, remove, or do anything that you want with your data before bringing to the model. So it's an initial step after extracting the data. So the data will go to Power Query, and then if you have some steps, action, or anything that you wanted to do that before having the data in the model, you will define it here. It's very quite robust and powerful tools, and you can do this activity in two ways. So you can do that by using these visuals and this prepared, this out of the box action that you can see here, or you can create some kind of the custom coding. So the code of the language of the Power Query is M. So it's a kind of the similar to not C#. It's a kind of the specific language that after you do some practice, you will get used to it. But it is very good for some cases that you are not able to do the work with this only with this out of the box feature. You can use the M query as well. So Power Query, as you can see here, you can perform cleansing operation, you can merge, split the data to each other, you can add new columns, and here when you can see the tables on the left, and then for one table you can create the multiple activities that each activity work on the result of the previous activities. We'll go through that now. Okay, yep, so we have a transform here. As you can see, you can apply the transform to one or multiple column. You can combine, or you can add new steps to the steps. And for adding column, we have the different options for adding the column. We can create a custom column that by using M query, we can create the conditional columns in the base. In some cases, for example, we wanted to see if the value is this or is the condition is this, then it's kind of the switch case, so you can create it. You can create the index column that is create a kind of the serial number for you. Column from example, you can create a kind of the custom function or call it, and you can do the duplicate column. And this is the way that you can go and see the M query of your activities in Power Query. Probably at the moment it doesn't make more sense for you, but when I do this demo, you will understand more about it. Okay, so the second demo, we have data in another Excel file. It is budget 2017. That's a budget data for the different sales territory based on the months of the year 2017. So you can see here for different months, we have different columns here, and here we have the different sales territory that they are belong to the different country. And we have another table for sales territory. that this is called, let's have a primary key and also the region, country, and grouping. Okay, I'm going to bring that table now. Get another one and budget this time. Okay, so we need both of the Excel sheet, but this time, because the data is not ready to be used, we need to do some transformation. Okay, so first one says territory budget. So you can see here, some activity has been added for bringing data in. So the first one is source, that looking the source of the data, and navigation is for telling that what sheet need to be used. Then it has used the promoted header to just promote the first row as a header and then change type. But because the format of the file is not ready, we need to do some kind of transformation. So first, we need to remove that row that have some null values. So for this one, I will say remove top rows, and here, oh, sorry, I need to get to the last one. Probably. Okay, remove top rows. So this one, remove the first row. So you can see one step has added here. Then the next part, because this is the column header, so I need to promote that to be used as header. So for this, there is one here, use first row as header. And as you can see, the first one has been promoted to the header. Now, what we can do, because this is a kind of the pivot table, yeah? If you are familiar with the data structure, this is a kind of pivot table. And to be able to convert it, to be use it in the report, we need to unpivot it. So for that one, I just select both of these. The first two columns that it's about the region and country, and then right click and say unpivot other columns. So now you can see it's kind of the unpivoting the data. Now we have two columns. One is attributes, that it is normally the months of the budget. So I will rename it budget months. And this one is the budget value, or what is the expect from the sales. I will call it budget sale, or sales budget. Okay, so the next one, so you can see on top of each column, there is ABC, ABC, ABC. So that one, it's an indication of the data type. It means that Power BI has found this as a text, but ABC is for text. For changing the data type, I can go here and change type. So I will say change it to date. So now you can see the icon has changed to date. And also we have one more step here. Okay, so the reason that I did this, because ultimately I need to link this budget table to date table. Can you see? And date table, the primary key is a date key, but it is kind of the integer or numeric table. And so this it is in this format. It's first year, then month, and then date. So I need to create a column in budget table to be exactly same as this. So for this, what I can do, I can go to add column, and this time I will say add custom column. Give it a name, budget, for example, date key. And then here, I need to write some M code, saying that date to text. And then I will use budget bound and give it a format. Yes, I have my new column, but this is this alphabet. Just need to change the type to whole number. Okay, great. So I have then, so now I have the link to the date table. The second part, I need to link it to sales territory. So sales territory, we have the key here, but in budget, we have country and region. So what I need to do, I need to merge budget table to sales territory based on these two and look up the key from that one. So if I go to merge query here, can you see? So here I have my main table, and then if I go to the second table that it is sales territory, then here you need to nominate what column need to be used for uh, merging. So you can see country is first one and region is second one. So here I need to use the same order. Country is the first and this one is the region is the second one. Just notice on the number on the right side of the columns. Then, okay, I will say, okay, and at the result, it will give me a column, but the column is a table object. What you need to do, just here, you need to tell them which column need to be added to the result set. So here we need to have sales territory key. Okay, so now we have sales territory key in the budget. And now we don't need to have these three columns. So these three columns can be removed. They are redundant and I can remove them from the budget table. So budget table now, you can imagine how simple is it. So it's a kind of flat table, have one value, date key and the sales territory key. Okay, let me do, okay, I think I did expanding. Can I remove that one to just have a better way? Okay, great. So now I have the two tables. You saw that a kind of the simple transformation that I did using Power Query, but your Power Query is quite powerful. So you need to start practicing and use it. Just try to find some kind of the dirty data in the different structure and use Power Query to shape it and change it to the acceptable format. Okay, so now I've got my two new tables, sales territory and budget. Okay, so the intention of this practice is just showing that in 2017, what is the ratio of the sales to the budget? Yep, to show kind of the KPI. Okay, first we need to see what happened to our data model. You can see a couple of mess happening here. So first, this is the new table budget. So now we have two facts table. Yep. One fact is sales, another fact is budget. And the dimension can be linked to one or both of them. So there is no limitation connected. So sales territory is connected to the budget, but budget need to be connected to date as well. So we have date key, just need to connect it to budget date key to be able to show how the budget is changing during the over the months, for example. And then this one. Okay, so there is one link has been created between these two, sales territory and geography based on the territory key. So we don't need it, just delete it. And then there is one linked relationship has been created between the sales and sales territory. You can see it's came with the, if it's not sure if you can see it, but the format is kind of the dot format. That means that this relationship has been created, but it is not active. To make it active, so you just need to double click on that and click on this, make this relationship active. Okay, so now we have the data already. So if I go, for example, to create a simple table here and grab the months. And also then if I from sales, if I go to sales amount, and from budget, so you can see this is the sales amount. You can make this to 0 to have the less precision number after dot. So then if I bring the next one that coming from budget, so you can see our budget among the sales. Let's give it the right format to budget as well. Okay, so this is how we can show that how the sales and budget performing during months. And here, because okay, so the thing is here, because the budget is belong to 2017, so we are specifically working with 2017. So it is good to have one filter from year to the page. So I added one filter page to this page and saying that just show me the data for 2017. So now you can see that the budget, the sales is not very good as we could see that before. Okay, now let's grab a chart. Just copy this chart. So you can always go and copy the charts and the visuals and paste them between the pages and also between the reports as well. Sure, yeah. I already have, someone asked that, okay, can we ask the recording of this? Yeah, definitely I'm recording and I'll share with you the link of the recording after the session. Okay, so here, let's see, if I now, what I wanted to do, I wanted to, for months of 2017, let's say this is my, put me to create it, yep, two chart, says budget and sales amount. So now you can see sales budget and sales amount beside each other. So normally sales budget better to go before. And so regarding the end user point of view, so normally it is good that for budget you give a kind of the light or gray color to that one, something similar to this, and this one, I would say that one. So this is how you can show the KPI. Another thing, if you wanted to show, for example, the KPI as percentage, you can go and create a measure by using DAX. So this is just a quick reference to the DAX, but I've got another session this Friday that I'm talking about DAX. If you guys haven't registered that and you wanted to know about DAX, please join to that session as well. So this one, I will call it sales to budget percentage. So here I will say divide sum of sales amount to sales budget to sum of, sorry. Okay, sales budget. Okay, that's kind of the KPI. And now because, okay, if I wanted to show it in the chart, I can go with this chart That's include the columns as well, and I can add the percentage as a line. So now you can see it's too many numbers. Let me turn off some of the data labels. So in the chart, you can customize the charts based on the series. For example, I wanted to turn off the sales amount for budget and also probably for sales amount. So the value doesn't show here. Okay, so what the problem is here, the format is not percentage, and you can always go and use the percentage here. So now you can see that for the different months, we have the budget, sales, and the percentage. Also because this budget is based on the sales country and territory, so probably we can here have another chart from sales territory if I bring region. So you can see here for different region, what was the budget, what was the sales, and which of the, wow, Australia has a good sales. Yeah, you can see what was the KPI based on the based on the percentage as well. Yeah, that was all about it. Let's see if there is any question. Okay, please ask if you guys have any question. Okay, so the question is on the merge query step, do we always have to do a left join? No, no, similar to SQL, you can have the different type of the join. You can have the outer join, inner join, cross join, all of the join are available. Yep.
Hi, Elliot Summit. One question I had. So you showed us that we can import the data through Excel and other sources. If I'm importing the data through SQL Server, I read that. So there are in two ways. So one, we can load it into Power BI, which you showed, which we did just now, and the other is we can run it through the SQL Server as well.
Yep. That's direct.
Which is a better.
Yeah, it is direct query.
Okay.
Yep. So I have explained that in my data modeling. I just discussed. Normally, this one is the data modeling sessions that I have, but it depends of the requirement. Okay, so each of them have the cons and pros. So normally, when you are importing the data, it's give you a very good performance because it's loading the data in the memory and it's using DAX and using the aggregation that's quite fast, and you will get a very good performance. But when you are using the direct query, so the performance is depend of how your SQL Server is powerful. So normally the SQL Server need to Power BI create a query and send it to SQL Server. But it depends of how your SQL Server is powerful and what is the data, what is the size of the data that need to be returned. So you shouldn't expect to get a very good performance on direct query. So normally you will do it if in some cases is necessary. For example, if you wanted to have the very real-time data, real-time result in the report, you can use direct query for some specific cases.
Sure. And while we are on this topic, like if we are importing the data in the Power BI, if any data is dated in SQL Server, will it automatically show up in Power BI imports or no? So
yeah,
so how does it?
Yeah, it depends. If you are importing the whole tables, all data will come. But if you, for example, wanted to limit it, you can define a query, or even you can define some view on your SQL. But it depends of the scenario. Yeah, it depends of the scenario. So you even there are a different scenario for that. Yep. So if you wanted to import all of the data, that's fine. You can do that. Yeah. But for some reason, if you wanted to limit it, there is some options that you can do it, or even, for example, you can implement incremental load on your SQL Server. So, for example, every day, so one time you can get the full data from SQL, and every day you can just pull the delta load.
Thanks.
The answer is depends of the scenario and depends of the requirement. Thank you.
Thank you.
No worries. Another question, can you tell me why you did unpivot other column? Can you show previous state? Okay, yeah, so the reason that we did it, because so normally you wanted to create a relationship between the date and budget, same as what we did here. This is to maximum, yeah. So here we created a relationship between these two. So with that pivot one, we couldn't make a relation, because the thing is we didn't have a column name, and at that time the month actually was a column name. I can get back to that question to show you the steps as we requested. Okay, so here we have the budget. So this is before unpivoting. Can you see? So the column name are dates value, months value. But when we pivoted, what happened? So we converted them to the columns. So we have now one column for date and one column for sales. Does it make sense? So if you wanted to let Power BI to run a query on the chart, so this format worked good for that, yeah? Because you can see that you will link this to the date table and just let Power BI to manage it. Sandra, does it make sense? Okay, great. Any other question, guys? Okay, if there is no other question, we can finish the session. Thanks for joining us, guys. I really enjoyed being with you. Just please follow up on LinkedIn's page to just be aware of the next sessions, and also be aware of the blog posting. If you guys or anyone wanted to attend to any Power BI training, please recommend us so we can provide more training. Okay, great. Have a good day. See you later. Bye.